Okay, so now to my next topic, bridging the gap culturally, right? So I could just speak for me growing up. There was always a disconnect as far as this genre, that genre, whether you want to go gospel, R&B, hip hop, Christian, all those type of things, right? I feel I want to kind of put a light on how we have found ways to bridge those gaps and kind of come together and find some type of happy medium where we can kind of please both sides of things. Perfect example. I've always felt like Kirk Franklin was one of the people who pushed that with, let's say, him and Lil Baby the rapper. They collabed on things. Now him and Glorilla, now they're collabing on things. And of course, there's some pushback on it. You're gonna get that, no matter what. You're gonna get that pushback. It's gonna happen, and understandably so. It's not. It's no. It's to me. It's no problem.
It comes with the territory.
Yeah, I feel like there's always room for some good conflict as long as we can come to a resolution.
Right.
And so I feel that we have done a great job of kind of building those bridges and bringing those together, because especially from where we've come from, where at one point it was just we were on two total sides of the spectrum.
Yep.
Yeah. So we kind of just want to get your guys' opinion on, from where we've come from to where we are now to where are we pushing this.
I love the example, Kirk Franklin.
Yeah.
Like, first of all,
oh yeah,
number one fan.
I am Kirk Franklin's number one fan, and I'm gonna tell you this: it's the music, right?
Yeah.
The reason I'm a fan, but it's also because of what you said. He bridged the gap.
Yep.
And like we talked about early, making sacrifices. He made a sacrifice, but that sacrifice he made had a purpose.
Yeah.
Right? So that was the whole sacrifice. Some people look at it like, oh, I'll say the older generation, the church, as, he compromised gospel music. No, he didn't. He opened the door. He opened the door to say, hey, there's room for you in here. Come on in. You know what I mean? So to me, him bridging that gap is his, him doing those collaborations with R&B artists or rappers or whatever. What's the message of the music? His message is still the same. His message has not changed. His message is still the same. So I was like empowered and inspired by the fact that's, like I said, that's one of the, I'm a huge fan. And like I said, it's his music because his music is so powerful, but that just stood out to me about him. Wow, you are courageous, because he and I are the same age. And it's like, wow, somebody took a stand.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're not supposed to shut people out of the church.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's go tell the rapper probably didn't hear about who Jesus is,
Yeah.
So let's bring him in. Let's have this conversation.
Yeah.
And so he did that. And continues to do that through music. So shout out to Kirk Franklin for taking that stand. Like I am a proponent of it. Everybody knows when you speak against Kirk Franklin and what he's doing, we're having a conversation about it, because I'm not having it. But like I said, I love that you used him, because that is a prime example of somebody bridging the gap, not just culturally, but even through music. He's opened the doors for people to hear the gospel through music that wouldn't necessarily listen to gospel music, right? So you hear so many people who may not be the person that's in church every Sunday, the so-called super Christian, right? But they know a Kirk Franklin song. They will tell you a Kirk Franklin song got them through a tough day, right? I've heard rappers say it. I've heard athletes say it. Like, I was watching an interview recently. I can't remember which athlete it was, but they were saying they listened to Kirk Franklin's music before a game, before a practice. You know what I mean? So that right there shows the power in bridging the gap.
I'll take it even a step further. You got Clark sisters. Clark sisters, right? I didn't know this, but watching the movie that they made about him.
Yeah.
How they took Stevie Wonder's song and made it into a gospel song.
Yeah.
Right, and then you take it even another step further. You have people like Aretha Franklin,
Yeah.
someone who's did gospel, did the what we call so-called secular music, right? And now you got people like Snoop Dogg making gospel albums,
Wow.
right? So you see this idea of just opening the door and giving that space, because once again, like, you got to come as you are. Like, some people, it may take them a while to get to that point, right? And so you look at these different aspects of how this music is influencing this music, right? The idea of sampling.
Yeah.
Right. I think we in the era where we hear every song has a sample, right? We take it to the Kendrick Lamar, Luther,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
How he took that one song and made this song. Like, it's the sampling aspect of it and things of that nature. So it's we see it all over. Like, and then once again, the idea of history repeating itself, it's like that through music as well. Right.
Yep.
I say my favorite artist of all time, Marvin Gaye, right? And so when I look at Marvin Gaye and his music and things like that, and then you don't realize how much his music has transcended over the years, because now you got artists like the like Music Soul Child, like the neo soul era, and then you got people like Daniel Caesar when he first came out and things like that. You can see the influence.
Yeah.
Right, and that's how we bridge that gap in terms of, like, when it comes to music, when it comes to just the culture of music, writing, whatever the case may be, right? You see that.
Yep. And I think it creates a level of understanding between different paths and different genres, different people. I think one of the sentiments that's always echoed in the current generation is, I'm not understood, I'm misunderstood.
Yeah.
And so when you get people like the gospel artists that we've all just named, and they're doing cross genre things, they're also talking with these artists, these individuals. And so from the artist's perspective, they're like, if you just come and talk to me and kind of see what I'm thinking, see where I'm coming from, then the narrative can shift to where I'm not just this troubled youth that grew up to be a gangster rapper or somebody who's just associated with these negative things. No, I give money back to the community. I know artists that will build their parents a church. It's a lot of artists who parents are preachers or deaconesses.
Yeah.
And so I feel like because it's always been an opinion, and it's on both sides. Like, people feel that people are in church are too judgmental or this or that, and people in church feel like people on the outside word or this or that. And so I feel like when you bring those together, it's not just the music collaboration. The music collaboration, for me, is the cherry on top. I feel that it creates a sense of a level of respect, and now it creates a world where now in the future we can do these things and it won't be frowned upon. It won't be. It won't look bad. And so I feel like that's one of the biggest components of bridging the gap for that culturally.
Yeah.
So I also want to touch on bridging the gap when it comes to sports and business, right? I do a lot of coaching, right? So you get it. I get that too. Why? I say do this. Why? Do that. Why? Because it comes with that experience. And so I can remember first coaching, right? And I kind of had my dad's mentality in a way where I'm just like, nah, do it like this, rah, 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 rah. And some kids would get it and some kids wouldn't. And I remember just this one day I got hard on a kid and he kind of yelled back at me. And I'm just like, what? Like, I'm like, what's going on, right? But then I had to learn, like, man, because I come from the generation where, like you said, you do this, you do that.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Right. And you couldn't go run and tell your parents the coach said that or did you like this, because then they're going to say, well, they were supposed to do that, right? And so it wasn't that my approach may have came off a certain way, but the intentions were correct, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of want to touch on that, like just kind of bridging the gap from a sports perspective, because we have a lot of kids, male and female, that want to do that, you know. And so we can start with anybody, just as far as how we can make that more of a relatable thing.
One quick point I want to make is I love that you use that example of you in your mind, you're thinking, okay, I have to coach this way
Yeah.
because dad coached me
And it worked for me.
this
so
way.
that's why.
And that worked for you.
Yeah.
So I'm the same way. Like we grew up with that, tough love, chin up. You better be strong. So for me, I can handle the rah rah rah.
Yeah.
But I had to realize that every kid can't handle that. Like for me, that motivates me. That it's the reason why I'm empowered today because of that, right? But like you said, you have to take that step back. Like, wait a minute, that worked for me, but that's not going to work for this kid. So I need to pivot and change my approach. And so that is important. Like when you with sports and coaching, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What's your thoughts, Konya? Especially Konya, the
Big
basketball
Big
player.
Hooper.
Let's
Big
talk
Hooper.
about it, Konya.
What's the question?
Because Konya was.
But basically, I just kind of want your opinion on how we can bridge the gap when it comes to we're taking it in a sports aspect, right? How we teach our kids, how we coach our kids, compared to how we grew up coaching. Because like I just gave the example. As a matter of fact, in that same example, when I pulled the kid to the side, he told me, "I feel like you were talking at me, not talking to me." And so when he said that, I said, "Okay, that made everything for me so crystal clear." And so we have, we have people these days who they have the right intentions, but their approach may not be for that specific kid.
Right.
How do we coach kids? I don't know. I'm trying to think about my son because he's.
I was going to say
he's into sports. So I'm trying to think.
How do you?
To be honest, I'm still rah.
You're
I'm still rah. I haven't figured it out.
It's a process. It's a
Yeah,
journey.
to be honest, I'm like, look. Get on the line, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I haven't found that.
But does that work with
it
him?
does. I mean, we're both we're a week apart. I'm into like astrology a little bit. So we're both Aries. So we're both fire signs. So I see he responds to it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So just if I create a competitive energy, he wants to do it.
Yep.
So I haven't actually found I haven't had to admit, like, you have the opportunity and both of you guys are dealing with other kids. It's just me and my son.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to him like, bro, you doing it or not?
Yeah.
And if you trash. I was like, I'm trash. And you know what I'm saying? It works. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I haven't really found the other ways of doing it because right now it's working. But I'm kind of just taking that whole beastie mentality with me when it comes to sports.
And again, you learn as you go. Like, he didn't see it until that kid, until it happened to him. Because I'm going to tell you, so when his dad was coaching him, he was like hardcore.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, if you don't back off, like this is like, oh my God. And he's like, no, this is what's gonna make him great, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you like, and I'm pretty hardcore too, but he was so for me, I was hardcore, but I'm also his biggest cheerleader.
Yeah,
like
right.
I'm gangster in the stands, right?
Yeah.
My baby got
I'm
it
the
right.
squad.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't need a I'm the squad.
I love
You know what I
that.
mean? So
Yes.
at the same time, but I was hard, but I provided both. You know, I was also the #1 champion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
For him. But like you said, you don't know until you're in that situation, like, okay, wait a minute. Now I got to pivot here.
Yeah.
My coaching style with this kid.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Because times have changed, and that's what it made me realize too.
Facts.
And that's just how it is. Times have changed, and so you gotta your approach has to change, even if your as long as your intentions stay the same. I feel like it's okay to make those mistakes along the way. And for me personally, I don't mind a kid coming and telling me, hey, like, I need to be coached like this. Just because we're the coaches or the teachers or something like that doesn't mean that we're always right. And so I feel like we need to kind of pay more attention because I feel like that's what makes a great mentor, a great coach, a great teacher. We have to talk to them and see what do you prefer, what do you like, what works for you, because we can. I can yell at a kid all day, rah, and they're not receiving it right. But that may be because I didn't know that they were getting yelled at home all day.
Yeah.
I may not have known that,
down.
and it shuts them down. And this is the place where they come for a safe space. So if they come to a safe space, and I'm kind of resembling the same thing they see at home, then where is my safe space?
Right.
And so I kind of look at it from that perspective too. So that's
And it's like finding their strength, like you said, and tapping into that.
yeah.
Finding where they add value to this team, to this space, to this organization, and tap, because each person adds something different. So again, like you said, finding that strength and tap into that and build on that. I remember when you was that not this past year? I think you guys were undefeated, your team, but the year before.
Yeah.
They had a lot of losses because all the kids on the team some of them hadn't played before.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, this is your chance. And I saw it. Like, you really, there was this one kid, the parent was like, oh, he's just here. Like, this is, we're not expecting anything. And at the end, she came and thanked Rashad, like, you really built his confidence. And we saw the kid, like, grow from game to game, out there, like, okay, now I'm gonna take the shot.
Love that.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But you don't know until. But again, that is to my point of seeing the strengths in these kids. Everybody brings something different. So I know with that particular kid, you saw like, okay, he has value in this way. So let me hone in on that, and it worked.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think even with me, like stepping into the coaching aspect, so I think the past 2-3 years, I coached girls basketball, and so the approach is totally different.
Yeah.
I have to have a more calm demeanor. You see me on the sidelines, I'm just sitting there chilling, right? I got to talk to them a certain way. I can't yell. Can't yell. I got to talk to them a certain way. I got to explain, and also I got to encourage.
Yeah.
I got to encourage, and then just once again playing to people's strengths. Like, for example, I coached the ICANDO girl.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Yeah.
And
Malia.
so
Shout out Malia.
that's Malia.
Shout out Malia.
And so, and so with her, it was trying to find her lane, because if we've seen her play, she get with it, like she hears, she very aggressive.
Yeah, she not playing.
And now it's more so I gotta teach her how to hone in, but I can't talk to her a certain way.
Yeah.
I have to be like, hey. And so even the last season I coached her, I feel like I seen it was the growth of maturity on the court, right? And then even going into this past year, I had to technically restructure a whole girls basketball team where I got girls who did not play basketball.
Yeah.
So now my coaching has to be different, because now instead of me assuming that they know how to play, I got to teach them.
Yeah.
Right? I got to teach them. I got to make them, not make them love it, but give them the opportunity to love the game.
Yeah.
Right? And so you got to approach it. It depends on your players, and that also goes with the coaching player relationship. Right? Am I going to come in here thinking I know everything?
Yeah.
Am I going to come in here with my expertise, also willing to learn from my players as well?
Yep.
I was gonna say, it goes back to what we said earlier: learning. Be willing to
Love
learn.
that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Learning. Yeah.
Yep. And I think also to your point, that comes with just seeing it in a broader sense, whether you're a coach, a teacher, even an executive, and you're trying to manage talent, trying to find talent or musicians. I feel like you got to micromanage those personalities. I feel like that is so key. I feel like that's what I've really learned lately, micromanaging those personalities. Like you said, you coach girls. You have to have that approach, because I'm the same way. I may hey to these boys over here, but to them I'm like, hey, listen.
Yeah, you gotta
let's
navigate
Good
it.
try, but let's try to
because the emotions work different, and so you gotta kind of got to tap into your own emotions and realize, hey, let me calm this down. It's been plenty of nights I done went home and been like, man, I shouldn't have talked to them like that.
Yeah,
I should have. And I'll go to them. I say, hey, if y'all lose, I lose. If y'all didn't play your best, I didn't coach my best. Even from a teacher aspect, if you are getting prepared for a test, and I've helped you throughout the way, and in your head you feel like you've given them the right, tools and everything, and you feel like they've received it and they didn't do as well as they wanted to, in the back of your head, you're gonna be like, I gotta find something to do to help. Even if you felt like you gave them everything, I gotta find more. I have to find more because at the end of the day, they're looking to you as, you know, guidance. And so you're kind of a reflection of that in a way.
Yeah.
So I feel like micromanaging those personalities and keeping those personalities intact are just so key.
And we can look at our experiences, right? So we both had the same coach, Coach May.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Shout out Coach May.
Coach May, Project Blue.
Shout out Big
I
Bro,
play,
man.
I
Shout out
lead.
Big Bro.
And so we look at how he coached us.
Yeah.
Right? And so, you know, you was a star of your team.
Yep.
And I'm sure that was his first year coaching.
Yeah.
And I know he probably told you, man, you got the green light.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
got
for
to
sure.
me.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to pass him the ball. Why? You got to pass him.
Go back
What
to
you
the
mean?
why, yeah.
I'm trying to win.
Yeah.
But then once again, what that did for him is once again he can approach it differently, right? He knew that he had to coach me a certain way,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And so it's the idea of knowing who you coaching, knowing the personalities that you coaching, and things like that. And so, you know, just being in that aspect, and then like even like you said, going back to your dad, like your dad coached me.
Yep.
He wasn't rah with me.
Yeah.
He was on the bench,
Yeah. Yeah.
chilling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't really say nothing.
Yeah.
Didn't call no timeouts. He got me out, we playing and everything. And so like it's the, you know, and you see that visually, you see it.
Yeah.
Every coach has to approach a certain team differently.
Yeah.
Right? Because times change. The people that you're gonna coach are gonna change. And that goes into the workforce,
Yep.
Yeah.
on the court,
Yep.
wherever.
Yeah.
What do you? So, what about like the NBA? Like currently, how do you? So let's say like Kobe and LeBron
Mm-hmm.
versus the new generation of.
I think I think I know what you're getting at. I think in my opinion, there is a lack of drive, or I'm not saying drive like work ethic per se, but I feel like there is a lack of drive for what the goals used to be. I feel like those who you just named, I feel like they come from that ilk of the goal is this. And so even with all these millions of dollars and these type of different things, I've created generational wealth.
Yeah.
But the goal is that.
Yeah.
So if I'm not getting that, then I still feel like the goal wasn't accomplished. And so I feel like now it can be, you know, we lost in the playoffs or, you know, we lost in the championship or this or that, but hey, life goes on. You know? And you know what? That's fine. That's fine. Like, because I want people to be themselves.
Yeah.
That's fine. But for me personally, I don't subscribe to that.
Yeah.
Because I grew up watching Kobe and LeBron, watched a little bit of Jordan, you know, like, so they would give their whole body on that court, sacrifice everything.
Kobe left it all.
Left it all on the court, right? And I feel like today, and part of it I feel is because of the branding, the money endorsements thing that's being doled out and everything. It's kind of like, you know, you can sit on the podium after the game, be like, yeah, you know, we lost, you know, cool. Like, I still got millions of dollars at home. I still got this. I still got that. I got these. You know, like I said, that's fine because at the end of the day, they are winners.
Yeah.
Because they've created generational wealth for their families.
Yeah.
They've done everything for their families. Nobody has to you know, suffer or go through financial discords. So
True.
I feel like that. I just feel like me and my dad talk about this all the time. Like, and it's funny because growing up, I never saw it that way. Me and him used to argue about that. Like, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, they're in the NBA for a reason. Like, what are you talking about? Like, me and him used to really go at it. And then now as I got older and now that I coach and everything, I see like, yeah, like you kind of right about this. Like some of these players, they don't bring that same, they don't lay it all on the line. And I feel that it's a disregard to the fans, the paying customers. You got people who travel. I mean, we've been to plenty Laker games. We've seen people in the stands with signs say I've driven this many thousands of miles to see this said player, but this said player not playing tonight when they could have played.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's a discord with that. That's my biggest problem is it's easy for them to be like, hey, I can go on my life because they have so much cushion to do so. But when you got people who are spending their last to come somewhere and they're not getting their money's worth or that
That's
one
how
time
you're making
experience,
money.
Yeah.
then that doesn't look good for me, you know, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, you know, what do y'all think about that?
I think we've lost the discipline and the respect for the game. Basketball and also like music, it's become like a lick.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
look,
yeah.
it's like I'm about to get in this to get what I can get,
Right.
and I'm out.
Right.
So the respect isn't there.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm athletic, right? I've been in AAU. I'm gonna go ahead and take this opportunity, get the money, but the respect and the work ethic is not there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think about it too. Like, how do we fix it? But because money is making that's making it possible to be that way. So we can't obviously take the money back.
Right.
We can't be like, okay, never mind, we're going to demote.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to, it's just, I think it's certain players that's coming in and injecting that energy, like Anthony Edwards, like, you know, we have certain people that still is like, no, we're going to compete. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's up to like the younger stars, one or two of them, once they start to kind of get gritty again, I think the competitive nature will come back.
Right,
But right
right.
now it's like, look, I ain't trying to get injured.
Yeah,
I ain't trying to get,
there we go.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I got endorsements.
I'm preserving.
Like, I'm preserving myself, load management.
Yeah.
So the hunger isn't there.
Yeah, that's what's
and they're
missing.
not fighting for survival anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
So-
Like, with all sports, especially in our community, with boxing, with basketball, it was like, we needed to do this to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But with kids now in college, they're getting paid. They're getting, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot different. So they're approaching it different. So I just think we need some more Anthony Edwards with some more. I can't think of anybody else right now, but just someone that's going to introduce.
Yeah.
I want to be the best.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I want to, and I'm taking your head off for it.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's-
So, you know, I just think I'm excited about this year. We all Laker fans in here.
I'm an NBA fan.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he does root for he was the
Well,
he like
me
the
and
Lakers
Shell.
win. Lakers win. He's riding with us.
Yeah.
Oh no, me,
so
you,
you left
and
me?
Rashad are we
Okay.
are day
I'll be at the
one,
parade.
Okay.
die hard.
All right.
Laker fans.
Okay.
You better not talk about my team.
Exactly.
Like,
Right. I'm with y'all. So
told-
we'll see
yeah.
what's happening this year. I think it's going to be a great year.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just need someone to just hip check somebody real quick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
It's kind of like the
yeah.
WNBA. The reason why they're doing, I know you want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Is they're fighting for survival right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're fighting for ratings. We're
Yep.
fighting for narratives,
Yep.
storylines. That's
Yeah.
really, really important.
Yeah.
The NBA grew because of storylines. With
Yeah.
you know, Jordan against the Pistons. And,
Yeah.
and Magic with
Bird.
Bird. Like these
Yeah.
are storylines that's happening.
Lakers Celtics
Yeah.
rivalry.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So the WNBA is, you know, even though they're not as athletic, right? It's still storylines
Yeah.
and it's grit and
Yeah.
it's a fight can happen at any time.
right,
like, you know
right.
what I'm
Yep.
saying? So they're fighting to make their stamp.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I
Yep.
just think the NBA got a little too lax. So we just
Yep.
need we need
we
somebody.
got
in
too
there.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
The NBA got too Hollywood.
Yeah.
I got a question going based off of that question. Like, do we feel like if we talk about bridging the gap, do we feel that disconnect is the lack of support that this newer NBA generation is receiving from the older NBA generation? Like, so, you know,
Yeah.
we hear the newer generation
Yeah.
talk about, like, man, they always
Yeah.
talking about how we're not doing good. Like, for example, Shaq, right?
Yeah.
Shaq approaches his critique and his constructive criticism the same way every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
He approaches the same way. Like, he's like, you know, I barbecue chicken this person, or, you know, he ain't doing what he's supposed to be doing. He needs to more effort, you know, like always pointing out the negative points of that player
Yeah.
on live television, right? Does that have an effect on how we see the newer athletes approach their craft?
I think so. You're right. That's a good point.
I think so. Yeah, because whose voice it is doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So when you talking about somebody like Shaq,
Yeah,
and you know he mainly talks about big men,
yeah,
because that's his thing. He's one of the standards for that.
Yeah.
Right? And so, I think it where the older generation goes wrong when they do that is they forget to realize they're not you. So when you hear somebody like Shaq talking, yeah, that's fine. They're not gonna go average 30 and 15. They're not you.
Yeah.
It's the reason why you were Shaq. It's the reason why that was Kareem. The reason why that was Wilt. That was Hakeem. Now, it's the reason why there's a Joker. There's an Embiid. It's a reason for that. So I feel like that's where they kind of, where some of the disconnect comes in.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, like we understand the criticism, but we also have eyes.
Yeah.
We can see what we see.
Yeah.
So certain players you may criticize, they don't have that.
Yeah.
They're not built like that.
Yeah.
Even genetically, not built like that.
Right.
So I feel like that's where some of the disconnect comes in, which also creates closed ears. I'll go back to that. Closed ears. Are you gonna talk like that? Because in their eyes, he could criticize. He could be criticizing a player that's averaging 17 points, 15 rebounds. Right. That's solid.
Easy.
And they're getting paid this amount of money. You hear somebody like Shaq or somebody else come in like they're getting paid that for that. When in their head they're like, but this is what business wise, this is what the market values me at. It's at 200, 300 million, whatever. So how dare you could talk to me like that? Like I'm not doing anything worth accomplishing. And so I feel like that's part of the disconnect too.
Yeah. I agree.
And I think also, I feel like the disconnect too. We need younger coaches, and we're getting those now. We need younger mentors, younger coaches. We need those things too. Like we need to, because there's just it's hard for you to mentor somebody and to coach somebody, and you like it's hard. They weren't in that era that you grew up in, like so you kind of gotta adapt. You can bring somebody. You could bring that tutelage and bring it and moderate it.
Yeah,
but you can't. Yeah, it's just hard because it's just like when people tell us like, oh, y'all don't understand about the 70s or 80s or how it was or how physical. We're not gonna understand it. We're not gonna feel that nostalgia. We're not gonna. We weren't there. We can appreciate it. We can go on YouTube and look at it, but we're not gonna appreciate it in the way that y'all want us to. Doesn't mean we don't appreciate it, but at the same time, y'all gotta meet us at the table and appreciate what we're doing now. Because it isn't like it's for a lack of trying. We're trying to do certain things, but if we don't rise to whatever occasion you want us to rise to, that doesn't demean us or doesn't degrade what we've done. And I feel like that's what some of these players now feel from the younger generation. Because to be honest, you don't hear a lot of current athletes and people like that say, they were this trash back in the day or this or that. You may hear here or there, but it's not a collective thing.
Right.
You hear older players like, oh, they were back in our era, they would come off the bench. Or they were back in our era, they wouldn't even have this amount of money. And it's kind of like, well, why can't we just appreciate each other's greatness?
Yeah.
I think the OGs of the game have to turn down their competitiveness.
Yep.
Like we're all here because we're like, as far as the NBA players, we're all here because we're competitors, right?
Yeah.
We compete. But when you get out of the field, right, and you're moderating the game, right, you have to turn that down and understand that we're not competing anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So I think the issue is they're still competing with ghosts. Like we don't even play with each other.
You right on the money.
Right. You know what I'm saying? We don't even play the same.
It's like they're still there.
Like you're still there. So I think it's really hard to be that great. Yeah. To be that great and then turn that off and just be like a spectator. Yeah. So I just think it's an ego check, right? And I just think things take time. The NBA is still fairly new. It's like 79 years, 80 years that it's been. It's still fairly new. And then it's very new for now it to be ex-athletes coming into it. Right. At first, it was just regular, X and O's guys. So when you are an ex-athlete, it's like, I could do that. I do it now. I do it now. I see Malik. I look at me like, what's up? Like, what? I'm 20-something years older than her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's whatever. Like, so it's still a competitive nature in you. That still makes you like size somebody up. So I just think that's just. They need to continue to do it. They didn't go to school for this. Shaq didn't go to school for broadcasting. Right. And knowing how to do the happy medium. You know what I'm saying? So I just think with more time, I think you will be able to just spectate and appreciate what's happening and how the game changed, opposed to being like, side-eyeing everybody. Like, I can do what he does. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a business too.
Yeah.
So and then now we're in an era where we have these platforms that's partnered with the sports.
Right.
So now it's not just NFL on Sunday. It's NFL on Sunday. Now it's Monday morning podcast. And now it's everybody has an opinion. So I feel like it's a business too. So when you hear somebody like Shaq say things, and I'm not saying he's been fake or nothing, anybody, it could be any athlete that's critiquing current athletes. It's a lot of shock value to it. Mm-hmm. So they're like, oh,
clicks.
This got a lot of clicks. I even though I'm being honest, I'm being true to it. I could temper it, but that's not what the views are saying.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So maybe these views are like, oh, well, they like what I'm saying. Like, I'm gonna stick to this.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, so I feel like it's a business.
Get those
too.
ratings. Yeah.
You know, and I feel like also that's part of the issue that people have with current athletes is maybe they're prioritizing their business and their brand over the actual love for the game. Mm. I do feel like there is a lack of love. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna disrespect no players. I feel like all these players love the game. I love it, and I don't even play no more like how I used to. Mm-hmm. So I know they love the game. I know they love what it brings, but I feel like they don't have that same passion and love, you know, for it. And I feel like that's where some of the resentment from, you know, the OGs of the game come from. Yep. And some of them kind of say it out their mouths, you know. So I feel like I feel like they can have both. I feel like you can have your brand and your businesses and all these things. Because who's gonna turn all that down? I wouldn't turn it down. You know?
That's bad.
I'm not gonna turn it down, but it's all about moderation and prioritizing. Like Kobe said, you gotta sacrifice certain things. So to do this, you may have to stop kicking it with the homies and prioritizing the homies or doing this or that. Yep. Like that's just how it goes. So, which goes to my next point about you know, brands, influence, social media influence. I kind of want to move the conversation forward to the kids, the younger kids, our future, the ones who are going to carry the legacies on and things like that. We, like you said earlier, we live in a microwave society. Everything's moving so fast, so it's hard for us to keep up sometimes. How can we bridge the gap as far as collaboration? Kind of how we're doing now. Yeah. Different generations, different aspects of life. Even though we're all from the same ilk, from the same upbringings, we can see things differently. You know, so how can we kind of bridge those gaps without making our younger generations feel like we're putting them down or not. I don't want us to take away from us being honest with them and critiquing them and kind of saving them from themselves. But how can we kind of find that common ground?
I think what we're doing now is creating spaces to have the conversation. Creating spaces to allow everyone to give their take on it. You know, allow them to speak. Because we talked about respect earlier. And respect is earned. And that's on both sides, right? You're telling a kid to respect me, but you're not even allowing that kid to speak or express themselves. You know what I mean? And the way they learn respect is to be allowed that space to give their opinion respectfully, right? So again, I think it starts with what we're doing today is sitting down and having these conversations between, you know, generations. We're three different generations and two different genders, right? So so we're all well equipped to offer perspective, right? So it's, again, like I said, it's creating bridging that gap, you know, creating, like a quote Martin Luther King once said, it's about building bridges, not gaps. Right? So again, building those bridges between generations, allowing the space, creating spaces for them to speak. Just like the program that you were one of the mentors for with Coach May. I play,
Project
I
Blue.
lead Project Blue. I love that because I've dropped in sometimes, and I'm watching them at the end of the program. They gather these kids. They're all sitting around on the floor, and they'll bring up a topic and allowing the kids to enter the conversation, allowing I remember the first time they've been a part of it for years, but the first time I'd ever stopped in and was when Ryan, my grandson, Rashad's son, Ryan, and I walked in and heard him speaking, and I'm like, wow, like this is really powerful, you know, that they're doing. But again, I think that like programs like that, platforms like this, I think that's where it starts.
Yeah, I agree. And it goes back to leadership. I feel like we have to lead by example. And not also that, I feel like we have to really, more so than ever, I feel like we have to do a better job of, like you said earlier, communication.
Yeah.
Even at the same program you're referring to, one of the things that we do with the young men is we'll get together as coaches and we'll divide the kids up into 2 or 3 per coach. We'll get their phone numbers with permission from their parents, and we'll tap in with them. Hey, how's school going? Nice. Anything? Hey, I heard you was going through some things. Need to talk. I'm here. Of course we have shout out to Jackson Hayes from the Lakers. He comes down, gives them an extra pep in their step.
Yeah,
because now they're talking to somebody.
That's beautiful too.
From a different aspect.
Yeah.
But he's also been through his growing troubles growing up. So we have those different things. So I feel like it's not just we have to bring them into the space. We gotta give them food for thought.
Yeah.
We gotta give them certain details, certain explain certain things, because they don't understand every single thing that's going on in the world. So I feel like if we have some knowledge about it, then we should be able to express that to them without them feeling like, like I said before, we're talking at them.
Yeah.
I talk to them, because they could already be getting talked at in other places.
Right.
So, and that's one of the first things we say when people come in. This is a safe space. You're never going to be judged. To this day, there's no judgment. A kid can, have a bad report card or something like that. We're not going to, hey, what's wrong with you? Hey, let's get you a tutor. Hey, we got some resources over here. Hey, give this paperwork to your mom. Tell her to sign up for this. Hey, we have a all men's and young men's event. Come to this. You may get a different aspect in life. So I also feel like that communication and really getting into the dirt of it. Just really getting your fingers dirty, hands on. That's what I think that's the most important thing. Being hands on. Yeah. Because you can tell anybody something from miles away. You can tell them, give them all the prolific quotes and all this you want to.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to be in their face. Let them look in your eye. That's one thing my dad taught me. You got to look a man in the eyes. Look somebody in the eyes so they can know what you mean, what you say. So.
Yeah. And just also like having a spirit of understanding.
Yes.
Right? You got to have a spirit of understanding. Instead of us listening to rebuttal, we have to listen to understand. Like, sometimes we be listening and we be saying like, oh yeah, how I'm gonna respond back to this.
Yeah, listening to respond.
Yeah. Versus to just say like, okay, I get it. So, and then even in you understanding, that's when you begin to ask questions. So, why do you feel that? Like, what made you come to that conclusion? And you begin, and those answers, you begin to learn that person. So just having that understanding spirit, I think coming into a conversation in a space with an understanding spirit, it allows growth.
Yeah.
Right? It allows growth.
Definitely.
For me, when I think about bridging the gap with the younger generation, it's kind of like what Shell said. It's like what we're doing now, but also just taking it back to the fundamentals. It's like, let's just go touch grass with each other. I remember like in the 90s, like when I was growing up, I was with my family a lot. And in that exposure to my elders and to my older cousins and aunties made it more comfortable for me able to do that. So I just feel like these days we're all like kind of separate. Adults are here, kids are here. So bringing back like we're at the park and we're all barbecuing, or we at the house, we at Auntie Barbara's house and we're all together. It allows me to sit in with what Shell talking about, what Barbara, you know what I'm saying? So just having the level of community back, touching grass together, playing tag together, that might be the first time you talk to your cousin. Your older cousin. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys were playing cards or you know what I'm saying? So I just think taking it back to the fundamentals, touching grass with each other and congregating with each other and creating a community to break the barrier of like, I can't talk. Like, yes, you can. I passed you the cake and now we could have a conversation right now because we open up we break the ice, right? So just being together again and spending time with each other and exposing and letting the kids see us be adults. Or we notice our little teenage, niece coming into her womanhood, right? So just exposure, and I just think family, I think will help.
Back to that foundation. Getting back to the foundation. And because once the foundation is the foundation.
Yeah.
It ain't going nowhere,
Yeah.
right?
At all.
So it's like I'm glad you said that. It's getting back, ultimately at the end of the day, going back to that foundation because it works. And it worked. Like you mentioned the family thing. You know, that family dynamic works. We know our family, right?
Yeah.
I think we are just one of the best, okay? I mean, like I said, we're not perfect.
Yeah.
And we have our issues, but at the end of the day,
We love each other.
we love each other and we stand together at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so it is getting back to that foundation. And again, everybody didn't have that, but again, that goes back to building communities. We had it. So we're capable and equipped to build that community and bring those in that didn't have it. And I think our family is
Pretty good with that.
very good with that. We're
agree.
really good with bringing in, like, our family consists of a lot of people, you know, that aren't blood related to us, right? And that's because we were taught that from generations before. Like, you know, we don't have a wall up. We're not closing the door. Hey, they need us. Let's bring them in. Right. Let's love on them. So you're right. So it is us getting back to that foundation of family and community.
Yeah. Because and then it goes back to that leadership thing, and like you just said, having those influences around us. You know, to go back to your point about the story you told about the kid at my high school. I think one of the things that helped me lean on that was watching my grandpa.
Right.
Used to go to the church with him, and he would.
Wow.
It could be a homeless person sleeping in the driveway of the church. I literally seen him walk up to him and say, "Hey, did you find out how much this motel up the street costs? Or did you find out how much this shelter or where this shelter is? I can help you for a few days, get back on your feet." So I have my father, he helped a lot of people. Your dad, he helped a lot of people. Like, just our family. So when we see that, that's what all we know. It's like, we see somebody in need, whether it's emotionally, financially, physically, we want to help. And so I feel like if we keep those foundations within our family, we don't have to wait until funerals or gatherings to say, hey, we need to do this more. Hey, let's plan this trip more. Which is fine, but I feel like we need to keep those foundations intact for the younger generations. So then now they look at us and be like, okay,
they're gonna copy and mimic it, and then they're gonna get together and stuff like that.
Like, we family,
Yep.
we cousins, we all that. Let's keep that together. So, I think that's key. But also to the other side of it, the younger generation, they have to, just like when we were younger, they have to open up their ears and listen to what we're saying.
Be receptive.
Because we've been there before. And so, just for example, a lot of the conflict I used to have with my dad is because I just felt like he was talking at me, but growing, I realized I only had one ear open. And then it was going out the other one when this one opened. And so I could remember something happened, or I had a full circle moment where I called him. I said, man, you was right about a lot of stuff, man. And he responded humbly. It wasn't, I told you so. It was like, nah, I love you. I've been here. I've been through these things. And also, I feel like we kind of, like, growing up, we're so used to our parents being our parents, our grandparents being our grandparents. We're so used to them just pounding the pavement, doing what they do. We're so just programmed to think like that they got it all together every day. When I had to sit back, and it wasn't until Ryan was born, I realized, like, man, I had a great father. He did this on the fly. He didn't have a lot of positive male figures around him, whether it was friends or family. And so he did everything he did from me and my brother to have the lives that we have and to stay out the streets and to not be involved in gangs or violence. And so I think that's key too. I think we have to realize that our people who are mentoring us or teaching us or raising us, there's a lot of things that they're learning on the fly too.
They're the first. They're the first to do it.
And it's crazy you said that, because it's crazy how me and you, we always be talking and like we here with it, but we both had separate experiences, right? Where you said like you were closed off. Me, bring it. I need to hear it. I would sit there in rooms and I just sit there just silent,
Yeah.
But I'm taking everything. You know, Paul say something, it's here. My dad would say something, my mom would say something, and at times I wouldn't question it.
Yeah.
Like mama said, oh, you gotta do it this way. Okay. Auntie said you gotta do it this way. So I was always receptive of that stuff. And so it's like I'm a walking and living example of what happens when you allow the older generation to pour into you.
Yeah.
Right.
Facts.
I'm literally the living example because when you look at me, you see this person, that person, aspects of this person and that person. It's because I've allowed for that to be poured into me.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yep.
Right. And so when you look at my life and the way I walk and the way I talk and things like that, you can be like, oh man, that's Pawpaw right
Yeah,
there.
you can point directly. You got reference
yeah,
points
like,
right in front of you. Yeah.
That's Big Randy right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even to the point where it's like, man, that's Shy right there.
Yeah.
Because I've took everything. I took everything, right? I took everything that was around me.
I love that.
And that's the beauty of it. Right? When you become the living example of what happens when the gap is bridged.
Yeah.
And that connection is made.
Yeah.
Megatron. You got everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yep.
Love that.
One thing I want to, and that just made me think about this, with Pawpaw, with my dad, right? Rob and I were talking. So Rob always says that he says, I don't know what it was, but it was so unique how Pawpaw knew how to handle each grandkid differently.
Yeah.
He didn't handle them in a different way. And he knew how to approach them. He knew how to talk to them to where they would receive it. And he used to be like, how does he, like, he literally knew how to, and most of it, like Rashad said, you guys are, you always with him, right, and going to the church or whatever. It was him leading by example, him just being. And so now with all of the boys, we always talk about this, how we see him in them, their mannerisms, the way they talk. Just we see these things, but it was him being. Right, that example, leading by example. So I think, like we talked about leaders, that as a leader, you have to be.
Yeah.
We can't just do all of this. Like you have to be. You have to walk that walk, because that's what the other generation, the younger generation, is going to see. That walk, not just what you're saying, because the walk is going to make them listen. That's what's going to make them listen. Them watching you. Be like like you guys look at Pawpaw, you're in awe. You know what I mean? But you're watching, and so without knowing, you guys emulate him sometimes.
Yep. Subconsciously.
Yeah, subconsciously. Yeah. So I think that it's important for my generation to bridge that gap is to be, and that, so that I mentioned that earlier. Like that's one thing that I'm cognizant of now, is make sure that I'm being what I'm telling these girls to be.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got one more thing before we get out of here. So to our current and future generations, I want all of us to, you can use one word, you can use a thought to express to them, or any advice we can give to them as far as the advice we can give them on how to move forward in life, but also move forward in life with God in their heart. So I guess I can start. Just keep persevering. Keep those around you that you trust. Never forget where you come from, and always stay focused on where you're going, but also stay in the moment of where you are. Always appreciate those moments, appreciate those journeys, because I promise you, you're going to look back and you're going to look at those big accomplishments, but you're going to really appreciate those small moments more than anything. So that's what I would say.
I would say, and I say this all the time, be a sponge. Be a sponge. Be willing to change. Be willing to pivot. Be willing to navigate. Someone can be doing something this way, and it may be the wrong way, but you can still receive from that's the way not to do it, right? So take what you can from each situation. Don't just kind of shut out everything, because everybody's different. Everybody moves differently, but be a sponge. And that is part of being a sponge. taking what is needed. You know, a sponge, a dish sponge, you wring it out. That excess water, you squeeze that sponge, it releases that excess water, right, and keeps what is needed. So my advice, as always, is to be a sponge and be your true, authentic self, because you are just fine as God made you.
I would tell them that they are loved, and to be intentional about finding your tribe. Who you congregate with and who you hang out with could be the reason why you excel and the reason why you decline. So be intentional about your tribe and walk in your purpose.
And piggybacking off of that, I would say, let the purpose of change and growth be your guide. And be willing to grow. Be willing to understand. Have a willing spirit, right? So let the purpose of change and growth be your guide.
All right, there we have it. Shout out to everybody tuning in. We appreciate having y'all. We're going to have more to come, more wonderful thoughts. Appreciate the panel here. Everybody had wonderful things to say. This your boy, Rashad Culture Chronicles. Until next time, we out. Shout out to the ICANDO women, the ICANDO brand also. And yeah, God bless.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to a special edition episode of the Women Can Do Show. We will be back for more. God bless.